So the Jets traded 2 fourth-round picks to move up to get Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik, Connor, but you gave him a 7th-round grade. So how would you assess their draft strategy, particularly when it comes to Klubnik?
I wasn't surprised they took one. It's just when you evaluate a guy as a long-term backup, to make the move for him is where it's a little questionable, right? Where you love how they acquired more capital when they traded out of 44, and they've acquired more capital because they didn't have the 3rd-round pick for Hassan Reddick, and they nailed it, I thought, with the first 4 picks. And then you go with, obviously in the 4th round, you make the move for Klubnik. I just didn't think he had to do that. I thought he would be there later in day 3.
Right.
What this tells me is, and this is a tough spot for Muji, the coaching staff was clearly banging the table for this guy. They wanted a young quarterback to develop behind Geno, and I understand that, as you can tell with Frank Reich's reaction. I spent time with Cade Klubnik at the Combine. I really like the person. I thought the 2024 tape was going in a great direction. It just all fell apart at Clemson this year. The feel under pressure, the accuracy. He's a guy with a quick release and athleticism you want operating in the quick game, but he lost his accuracy in the quick game this year, and then everything kind of fell apart around him. But that's going to fall on the quarterback as well when the program struggles. So I hope Klubnik can refine the form that he seemed to in 2024, but there's definitely some risk here. And I care about 4th-round picks more than most, so maybe I'm a little hypercritical of it. But I was surprised.
That's a good thing. I was a 4th-round pick.
Yeah, 4th-round picks matter a lot.
Yeah,
they win Super Bowls, and they do get second contracts.
There you go.
So don't light them on fire. I hope Cade Klubnik proves a lot of people, including myself, wrong.
Yeah.
It was necessary. They fumbled Jordan Travis, let's be honest.
That's right.
And so they needed somebody who they can develop and depend on. And really, if we're being optimistic, if Frank Reich is here and he builds a system and we continue to pour into him and what he's able to do, you're going to need somebody who's going to be a steward, right? And so this gives him an opportunity to have a young man that can learn behind Geno, and also, when you pull on his coattails, he can perform. So I thought it was necessary, and they did what they needed to do.
When you don't have a quarterback, you have to throw stuff against the wall, hoping that you can find a Dak Prescott, hoping that you can find, potentially a.
You'd be happy with a Mac Jones at this point.
Yeah, Mac Jones.
Player.
Or somebody that can come in that you can develop, that's raw clay. And listen, we're not defined by our worst season. And he has shown that he has the ability to play at a high level. Last year was a bad year, but that happens sometimes in football. Can they get him on the right page? Can they figure out what his mechanics were? Now he doesn't have any pressure, right? So let's see if he can develop that way. Most of us come in and we're not ready to our 3rd or 4th year. Mm-hmm. So he gets to come in and be able to come there, and if he turns out to be something, great. If he doesn't, fine. You move on from him. So, you hope that it's somebody that you can get and you threw it against the wall. And 4th rounds, I was an undrafted free agent, so I understand that. But we've seen traditionally that the 4th round is where people really take those shots in the dark.
Yeah.
They probably just didn't want somebody else to get him once they identified that he was the guy that they wanted. They were impressed with him on the board. And Frank Reich saying, well, at least he has it up top. We can fix the mechanics and the accuracy and stuff by drilling them to death.
That's the thing I'll give him all day is that you're getting a guy that's going to show up and give it everything he's got. And, one thing that I do find a lot of regimes, including the Jets regime, they like adversity. They like to see if you've kind of already gone through that in college, rather than you get to the NFL. I've been a superstar my entire life. I get to the NFL, I get punched in the mouth. How do I react to that? The thing with Klubnik, he's been very upfront about how things went at Clemson this year. You probably heard his teammate T.J. Parker got drafted by the Bills and had nothing but praise for him at his post-draft press conference. So I'm rooting for the guy. And the bottom line is the Jets were one Geno Smith injury away from Bailey Zappi or Brady Cook having to start games. Klubnik gives you a bigger ceiling as a backup than those 2 guys, so they had to take somebody.
He's also a guy who just really wants to be there. When I talked to him after he got drafted, he said he woke up wanting to be a Jet and really excited to get that phone call. And I think that really speaks to where this organization is trending to.
I'm laughing because Bart doesn't believe it.
I mean, Bart doesn't believe a lot of things I say, but I think that does say a lot. That he wants
we
to
didn't know it was 3 or 14 last year. That's what people wake up and be like, that's the team I want to go to.
Thank God. But after a 3 and 14 season, you have a guy, obviously all these guys want to get drafted, but you have a guy that says, I want to be a part of this organization.
Yeah, because that's a young man who believes.
He likes where the culture is. He wants a shot.
Well, that's what it is. He believes he can start.
Yeah,
that's
like, I ain't got no quarterback. I can
do this.
He wants to be there.